Good evening, everyone. If you could go ahead and take a seat. Thank you for coming tonight. We're going to try and get started right on time so that we hopefully can get you guys all out of here right on time as well. People keep pouring in. That's okay. If you guys could maybe try and scooch into the middle and then like scooch into the edges so people who maybe come a little late have some places to sit without trying to crawl over you guys. Really appreciate it. Before we get started real quick, I'm just going to introduce our new head of school, Michael Ehrenfried, who will open us up in prayer and just introduce himself for a little bit. So thanks, Michael.
So let's open in a word of prayer. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, we thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight as a community. We thank you for the gift that you have given us of being able to raise kids to follow you. Help us take that seriously and help us have joy and fun in the process. God, we pray for tonight that you would just help us learn more clearly about how athletics can form our kids and how we can support each other in that partnership. In your son's name we pray. Amen. As Dylan said, my name is Michael Ehrenfried, the new head of school. I just wanted to welcome you all here tonight and introduce myself and say thank you. One, for being here after work, and two, entrusting your kids to us and our programs here at Denver Christian. I think that athletics particularly has a great way at this age to develop the skills that will allow for lifelong wellness and an ability to walk with God in physical wellness and to be a wellness steward, which is one of our through lines for a lifetime. Additionally, it teaches a number of skills around collaboration and cooperation and competition and things that are great on the athletic field that then translate into life and into the workplace and other areas. So students, for those of you that are here, you are investing in your future selves tonight by prepping to do this work in your season. And parents, thanks for being partners with us as we do that. I also want to introduce somebody, Brock Becker, our upper school principal.
Hi, as he said, I'm Mr. Becker. So I wanted to talk to you guys tonight because it's my first chance to see families live, and I'm so excited to be here. And I wanted to be able to talk to you guys really quickly because, Dylan came and said, "Do you want to say some words?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." I really want to be able to express to you guys how excited I am to be here, how honored I am to be your principal. And also, I had an opportunity to sit down with our coaches last week at their coaches meeting and get to know and hear their hearts. And we have an incredible coaching staff. And I'm really excited about the fact that as we sat there together to hear them talk about your children, how much they love them, their passion for the sport, their passion for your kids, the passion they have for the Lord Jesus, it's why I want to be here. It's why when I was the athletic director and assistant principal at Heritage High School, it's why I took my own son as a sophomore and brought him to Denver Christian. I wanted him to have spiritual formation training, and you get that with our coaching staff. You get that with our athletics program. You don't get that everywhere. And I'm really excited for the fact that these young men and women are going to be shaped and molded into the people God wants them to be. And our coaching staff is prepared and ready to do that. And this coaching training that they did the other night was amazing. And part of it you're going to get to learn about tonight because we're going to talk a little bit more about it. But we've installed this new coaching curriculum for our coaches called What Drives Winning. And What Drives Winning is all about a character-based curriculum that our coaches are going to be implementing into their practice plans, into their games, in the way they coach. And it's about building character and building men and women who, when they leave here, are better husbands, better wives, better citizens, better at everything else because they've been prepared and character has been taught and who they are in the Lord Jesus has been taught. We sometimes get into this like, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like a habit of saying, oh, well, this freshman doesn't have it. They don't have their perseverance, or they don't work hard, or they don't have the character traits that we're looking for. And that is false. We have 3 years in our middle school athletics programs and 4 years in our high school athletic programs to build character. And character is something that's built. It is not just already installed in all of our students. And so if they are coming through our programs after 7 years and they're a senior and we're like, oh, they don't know how to persevere, they don't know how to work hard, that's on us. So this coaching curriculum teaches that, holds our coaches accountable for doing that. And it's really, really incredible because it's teaching our men and women that who they are as a person is more important than who they are as a player. Who you are as a person is more important than who you are as a player. I said it again because I want you to hear it again, because it's opposite of what we are being told outside of these hallways. Everywhere else we are told, oh, you're really good, we'll bend the rules. Oh, you're really good, then that's okay. That is not the case, and we want them to be, when they leave here, they are prepared to know who they are as a person in Christ, what kind of character traits have we developed in them, because let's be honest, the majority of our athletes, their careers are probably over after this. And if they get to go on and they're fortunate enough to play in college, most of them are done then. So we're talking 4 to 8 years. So what are we really saying is important to them? So I'm really excited about this new coaching curriculum. I'm really proud of the job that our coaches have done and our athletic director and Coach Hansen have done, or AD Hansen has done as well, to get this going and teach our coaches. I'm really, really proud of our athletics program. I think you guys, if you haven't been a part of it yet and you're new, it's top notch. And what we have planned for this year is incredible. So thank you for letting me tell you about it. I'm just really jazzed about it. You're going to get to learn more about it tonight. Thank you for being here. I cannot wait to come out and see you guys on the athletics fields. I cannot wait to see all the families out at the games. I'm like I said, I'm just really excited about it. So have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you, Brock and Michael. We are just going to do some quick introductions real quick of our athletic staff. So behind me, we got Mr. Mike Hansen. You guys probably know him. He's all over the place. The Energizer Bunny, he gets so much done for us, and honestly, this job would be impossible without him. If you're a high school varsity coach here, could you just stand up for me? And there we go. So right here to the left, we got Coach Dennis Barrage, Coach Ben Poland. Sorry, Dennis does boys basketball. Ben is esports. We have Gina Harris is our cheer coach. Jada Mateo is new to DC. She's our varsity girls volleyball assistant coach. We got Mr. Shane Miller up here, strength, if you couldn't tell just by looking at him. We got Colby Warren, girls golf head coach. We got Mr. Brad Holman, girls soccer coach. Mr. Braden Holman, not related. Yes, they are. Boys soccer coach. Mr. Chris Fuller, girls basketball head coach. Mr. Russ Heyman is back. That is a big deal. Girls volleyball head coach. And Coach Bohannon, cross country and track head coach. Did I miss anyone? Who else? Coach Hensley. There he is. Baseball head coach. Thanks, guys. We're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to fly by a little bit by the seat of our pants. I'm going to try and talk fast. We got a lot to cover, and we're going to try and get you guys out of here at 8:15 so that we can start our fall sport parent meetings after that and get our middle school parent meeting going as well. Before we get started too quick, I want you to get out a pen, piece of paper, phone, open up your notes app, text, whatever that is. Okay, and I'm going to ask you guys 10 questions. Okay, and I want you to type them out or write them down if you have them. So question number 1, all right, that I want you to answer, what is important to you? Okay, just write that down real quick. What's important to you? Question number 2, what's important to you? Question number 3, what's important to you? I hope you guys can see where this is going. Question number 4, what's important to you? Question number 5, what's important to you? Number 6, what's important to you? Number 7, what's important to you? Number 8, what's important to you? Number 9, what's important to you? And number 10, what's your favorite color? Just kidding. What's important to you? Number 10. You should have 10 things on your list. I want you to do your best real quick to organize them into a top 5. Okay? So just rearrange them real quick or cross out your bottom 5, however you want to do it. And you should have a top 5 things of what's most important to you. Okay, don't raise your hands, but how many of you guys have my kid winning a state championship on your list? Hopefully no one, right? How many of you guys have my kid being first team All-State? Okay, hopefully no one, right? Things that hopefully you would have on your list are things like your faith, your family. You know, if we're coaches, right, it's trying to have an impact on young people, shape lives, things like that. And so we just want to I want to start this year sort of by hopefully kind of resetting the way that we think about high school athletics, okay? Not that there's anything wrong with some of those things, but that is not why the DC athletic department primarily exists, okay? And just real quick, we're going to watch a little video that we showed to our coaches last week that will go a little bit more in depth. Again, this is kind of more geared towards coaching, but I want you guys to try and take some of the lessons, apply it to you as parents, apply it to you as students that are here, and hopefully we can reshape some perspective.
Take a look at this resume. When you see this resume, what do you think? Pretty impressive, right? Sustained excellence. My question is this: is it possible to feel like you failed with this resume? Mary Wise will tell you that it is. How do you ask that question?
How can you ask that question? I think if you are amongst high-profile, highly successful coaches like we have here at the University of Florida, in the fishbowl that is the University of Florida, and winning the championship is the norm, you can get caught up in that anything less isn't good enough. And I think early in my career I could do that.
And when did it shift for you? Like how many years in?
About 20 years in. I know that's a really long time, but it took a long, long time for me to truly, I could say it, and I could hear other people tell me, but I never really bought it.
And it didn't matter who the source was. One of her colleagues was Billy Donovan, who's a basketball coach, who's a future Hall of Famer, and this is a conversation they had.
Billy Donovan, after he won the back-to-back national championships, and he and I had a conversation, and I said it, I want so badly to win it. And he said, you think that will change you? It will not. You'll just be working just as hard to get back there.
So why couldn't she hear him?
I kept seeing national championships being won around us, and I thought, I'm not equal until I've won that. And that's not true.
So Mary attached her importance to achievement, right? That's a dangerous trap. And what you're going to see now is some footage from last year. This is the reaction of her team to the point that put them in the Final Four. You're going to see her team's reaction, you're going to see the coaching staff's reaction, and you're going to see how enthused the fan base is that she's built down there. So they went to the Final Four. They won their first match in the semifinals. Mary was crowned National Coach of the Year, and they eventually fell to Nebraska in the championship game to put an end to a magical year. This is 1 week later in Gainesville, Florida.
This was maybe a week after the championship, and we were waiting outside at a restaurant, and a gentleman, probably older than me, walked by, and he looked, and you could see, and he recognized me and went, "Hey, oh, that match, that was really rough." And then he just walked away.
And young Mary, for the first 20 years of her career, internalized all those signals. She's going to describe young Mary.
Young Mary had horse blinders on. It was just right here at this moment, so focused on the win-loss. And we had early success, so I felt even more expectations.
This is how bad it got.
I was this weak in that after a loss, I didn't even want to be seen in public. I didn't want people looking at me thinking, she really should be watching videotape because her team lost. And I think that's just ego-driven.
She has a more refined perspective now. This is one of her favorite quotes. It comes from Barbara Bush. "At the end of your life, you will never regret not having passed one more test, not winning one more verdict, or not closing one more deal. You will regret time not spent with a husband, a friend, a child, or a parent." I asked her, what would have happened if you would have given that quote to young Mary?
Young Mary would have said, "Well, you'll work hard enough and you're good enough and you can still make that phone call and be a good mom." That was ego-driven.
So there's a lot that she would tell young Mary, and I asked her to sum it up in a letter. Here's what she said.
Dear young Mary, I know that you're judged by that win-loss column. You're hired and fired by it. But you must believe there's something more important than that. And that belief must be part of your core. Because when it is, you'll have perspective to help you get over the losses. It doesn't mean losing becomes easy. It never does. But you can have some perspective. That's the one thing I wish I could give you, perspective. And I encourage you to seek it earlier. It will help you direct your energy to what's important, and your players will appreciate that. They'll appreciate seeing that there are more important things to you than just winning. If they feel winning is the most important thing, they'll start to internalize they are only important to a coach if they are successful. And you don't want them to feel that way. Take it from me. I know what that feels like to have your importance be attached to your achievement. And you don't want to feel that way for the next 20 years. Seek perspective. Love, Mary Wise.
And how do you begin the conversation to seek perspective? Well, that's what we tried to figure out, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And it's going to involve the bottom half of the quadrant. And so what we do to begin this conversation around perspective is we go to the lower right-hand section, and we ask this question. How does society measure your success as a coach? Think about how you would answer that question. How does society measure your success as a coach? Take a look at these answers and see if any of them apply to you. Show of hands. How many can relate to some of those? The last part of this exercise is probably the most important, and it's the bottom left section. And basically what I do with an individual is I will ask them the same question 10 times in a row. And so the question that I ask is this. What's important to you? And it's geared at life in general. So when I do this activity with a coach, I'll ask, what's important to you? They'll write down the first thing that comes to mind. I'll ask again, and we do that until they get 10 answers. Here's an example. So as you look at this list, just a show of hands, how many can relate to this list on some level? As soon as they get done writing their 10, I'll ask them to take a second, review their list to see if they left anything out. If they didn't, we go to the next part, and that is to rank, in order, your top 5 priorities. So for this coach, these were his top 5. Then what we do with those 5, that's what's really important, is we stack those next to how society measures your success. And then I'll ask the question, what do you notice about the 2 lists? What do you think they say? Not a lot of crossover, is there? So the higher the level you go up, and the more success you amass, what happens? The harder you have to fight to keep what's important. And that's what this day is going to be about. We're going to have a bunch of conversations on how people have been able to find perspective inside the world of high performance. Thank you all so much for being here.
All right, so we're not going to have that many conversations tonight. We don't have enough time, sorry. But again, hopefully we can kind of see here what we're working up against, right? And so again, you can see sort of maybe what other athletic departments around the state, what your friends or your kids' friends' parents, right, what they might think makes a successful athletic department. And again, not that some of those things can't be important or that we can't shoot for some of those goals, but ultimately that's not why we're here. The ultimate reason why we're here, the mission statement for the DC Athletic Department is to represent Christ to the best of our abilities in wins and losses, both on and off the field of competition, right? And so we're trying to develop your students, develop your children, where they can be image bearers of Christ everywhere they go. That's number one, and we try and do that by hopefully myself, Mike, and our head coaches and all of our assistant coaches as well, following through on the same thing. And so what does that mean now for you, parents? Well, my expectation for you is to do the same thing to the best of your abilities. Sorry about some of the black on blue. If this was white, you would all be blind, just totally blind. But so how can we do that? How can we be image bearers of Christ and represent him accurately to the best of our abilities? We can be gracious to officials, right? That's a really big one. I promise you the officials are going to get a lot of calls wrong this year. It's going to happen. Do not be surprised when it happens. We can be kind and welcoming to guests. We can take care of our facilities, both home and away. So one of the things that drives me bananas, you can call it an AD pet peeve, is when we go out to another venue and we leave trash in the stands. Our fans, our students leave trash in the stands. Drives me crazy. We should treat all of the places like they are our own. If game day staff approaches you about your behavior, maybe you are yelling at some officials, maybe you're a little heated, maybe you're a little pumped up, that's not the worst thing in the world. It's also maybe not the best thing in the world. But we will, myself, Mike, Mr. Becker, maybe Mr. Ehrenfried, someone will likely come and approach you, hopefully in a very kind way, and just say, hey, we need you to, take some deep breaths, sit down, calm yourself down, whatever that looks like. And we want you, right, to be respectful and comply with our request. And if you can't, that might mean that we unfortunately would have to remove you from a home contest. So sometimes, too, it could be directed by the officials. So just know that. It's not always us saying, hey, you got to go. Sometimes it might be an official saying that, and they will not restart the game until that person is removed from the venue. Some more things that we want you to do. We want you to fulfill your role. So what is your role? Well, your role is a parent, and your role is a fan, right? So you're not a coach. Maybe some of you are on the coaching staff as the parents as well. But let our coaches coach, okay? So I think we have a really high-quality coaching staff who knows what they're doing. They're not perfect. I promise you they're not perfect. Sometimes I have questions. We deal with those questions. And a lot of times they have really good answers to my questions. But help your child understand, right, that there's a lot of more things going on, right, besides them. There's a kind of a famous saying in basketball, all the parents want the 4 best players and their child to be on the court all the time, right? And that's not realistic. And it's not realistic for football or volleyball or any of the other sports that we have either. You might not always agree with the coach. That's totally fine. Keep it to yourself. No, just kidding. Don't. A lot of the times, maybe keep it to yourself. But we'll talk about what a conflict resolution plan might look like. But just be respectful in your disagreement, right? So name calling, just being disrespectful in general, the tone that you might have, right? Those are things that we definitely don't want to see. You're also not an official, right? At least not when you're in the stands watching our games. So let the officials be the ones that make the calls and do that. And again, you might disagree, and there's a good way and there's a not good way to disagree with officials' calls. So what you can do is be the best fan and supporter for your child and our team's program that you can possibly be, and that's what we want, right? So, even I know a lot of you guys have probably heard the stories about parents talking to their kids on the way home and how some of those things can be, right? Those are really good times for positive conversations, right? Not destructive, not talking about how the coach is a dum-dum and he doesn't know what he's doing. Those are times where, you can be supportive and like, man, I thought you worked really, really hard today. And working hard is a great thing, right? We want everyone to work hard. So I'm not going to tell you how to parent. I only have a 5-year-old, so I don't know anything about being a parent of a high schooler. But there's times and places to have some of those conversations. That's a duplicate, my bad. But another thing about being a fan is not cheering against the opponents, but cheering for our teams. And then there's lots of rules from CHSAA, so like no bullhorns or what is that called? Air horn. Those are bad too. The thing, like just leave it at home. Use your hands, use your voice. You got it, okay? Some more expectations from you that we have, okay? Get your child to school. So why is this important? Well, if your kid's not at school, then they can't play. And so I'm not going to read through this entire thing, but just some important things is, sometimes we will have late nights, and your kid might not get home until, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. They might have homework that they have to do, some of that. Get them to school, okay? How many of you guys played college athletics in here, okay? Did you have a chance? Did your coach let you skip school the next day after you were out to God knows where doing whatever? No chance, right? How many of you guys, you might not want to raise your hand, ever partied too hard on a Sunday night, okay? Did your boss at work ever let you sleep in the next day and not show up to work? That's not how life works, right? And we're trying to help these kids prepare for life a little bit. So get them to school. On the day of a game, we have a half day or no play rule, so a kid has to be in attendance for a minimum of a half day to be eligible to play in an event that day. We do have some exceptions. I'm not going to tell you what those are. You'll just have to figure it out for yourself when those happen. But the exceptions have to be approved by the administration, myself, Mr. Hansen, or Mr. Becker. And so we just want to make sure that you get your kids to class. We also have a next day policy. So when you do have disagreements with the coach or the athletic department, maybe in general, that's okay, and we're willing to have conversations about that. What we would want you to do first is we want the kid to have the conversation with the coach first. And the reason that we want to do that is, I think what I've, as respectfully as I can be, what I've come to learn in my 9 years of being an athletic director is most of the time the kid doesn't really have a problem, it's the parent that has the problem. And the kid is kind of okay with what's going on because maybe they have a little bit deeper of a context or an understanding of what's happening. So we want the kid to address the coach and have a conversation about that. If that's not resolved, then we would invite you, the parent, now to have a conversation with the coach. If that's not resolved, then I will assist and I'll get involved and I'll have a meeting with you, the parent, and our coach, and we'll try and come to a resolution from there. 99% of the time, that's enough. If we come to a situation where I've really upset you, and I'm deeply sorry about that in advance, if we got to that situation, then we would escalate it to Mr. Becker, and then he would take it from there. So that's sort of what we do. The last kind of main point with that is please be timely in your frustrations or complaints, okay? And so what is really, really frustrating as an AD is when you have been frustrated for a very, very long time, and I hear about it 3 months after the season is over. I cannot do anything about trying to fix your problem or help your problem 3 months after the season, okay? So if something's really, really bothering you and something is maybe really unjust in your opinion, or things aren't working well for whatever reason, this is not an invitation to contact me every single day throughout the school year, okay? But please do be timely. I'd love to try and help fix whatever the issue is, but again, it's really hard to do it way after the fact. Some more expectations for you. We got arbiter registration. You guys have probably seen a few emails from myself about this, and or Mr. Hansen going out. We really need you to be registered. What fully registered means is uploading your address and contact information and emergency contact information and insurance and all of those things, and a physical, okay? And I know there's been a little frustration. Some of our people were able to register without having a physical required. That was a glitch or a mistake that happened. If that has happened, we need you to go back and upload the physical. Arbiter registration is where we are checking to make sure that everyone is up to date, good to go, squared away so that they can compete on the first day of practice or tryouts, and also good for the duration of the season. We hate paper, okay? We love trees, okay? So save the trees, don't print off paper. I don't want any paper. If you did the on-site physicals with Ms. Klager and Dr. Spitz, please request that back from her. When you do request that back from her, do not send me the physical, please. I do not want your child's physical. Actually, I do want your child's physical. I just want it in the system, not in my inbox. And then after that, after rosters are set, after tryouts, practices, generally it takes maybe a week or two sometimes for me to get the roster from the coach, slackers. Then I will upload it into fax, I won't upload it into fax. I will send it to the business office, and the business office will then upload it into fax. So, and that's where it will be paid, okay? So not the fax form, not the Reg Fox forms, not on arbiter registration. Your account will be billed directly. Another expectation for you is to volunteer, okay? We have a lot of positions throughout the year where we need your help, okay? A big one is Booster Club. Aaron Pierce will come and talk about that a little bit. At our coaches meeting, she mentioned we had, I think it was like 115 days that the concession stand was open last year. If you are good at mathing at all, that's about a third of the year. And not only is that about a third of the year, that 1/3 of the year is scrunched into about 9.5 months. So that's a lot of days. And that's a lot of days for the Booster Club and Aaron and Melissa previously to be here, and be here sometimes without help. So we need your help. She'll get into a little more specifics about that. But we also, that's not the only place we need your help. We need line judges for volleyball. We need people to do the book. We need people to run the clock. We need gate workers sometimes. There's a lot of different people. We need a chain gang for football. So there's a lot of different places. Ball runners for soccer. Kids are great for that. If you got like a young kid and you just need them to get tons of energy out for about 90 minutes, talk to Mr. Holman or the other Mr. Holman and sign your kid up to be a ball runner. I promise it'll work. So again, lots of different places. And then in addition to that, we have team meals, we have team banquets. We have all sorts of things that we need your help with. So get involved. Don't just get involved in one way. Please get involved in a bunch of different ways. And then a couple just important policies real quick. We did last year implement cuts for the first time in many, many years. So just for you to be aware, your kid coming to tryouts, that does not guarantee them a spot on the team. That's why we're not collecting your payment upon registration, right? That's why we're waiting until after teams are set to bill. So kids can get cut from a program. I would say most of the time at this point, probably about 90% of the time, that won't happen, but no promises, okay? And then eligibility, again, and getting your kid to school, a really important thing. So we run eligibility checks on Tuesdays. They go into effect on Wednesdays. And if your kid has failed a class or is failing a class in that week for whatever reason, they are ineligible. What that means is that they cannot practice in practice, and they cannot participate in practice, and they cannot play in a competition until the grade is above failing. Okay, after the grade is above failing, they can continue to practice. They can now can't continue. I need to be very clear with my words. They can start to practice, okay, once their grade is above passing, but they are not able to play until the next grade check comes out and they are now passing that class. Does that make sense? That was a little bit of a jumble word salad there. But that's how that works. So make sure, again, another reason why we want your kids at class, right? They're gonna get out of school a lot of times at 1:30, noon. If your kid's on the boys golf team, they're missing full days of school. They cannot afford to then not come to school the next day to rest. Okay, they need to get back in school. They need to get their assignments, hopefully even get those assignments done prior to missing, but get those turned in as soon as possible. Some important dates for the upcoming year. We have lots of things, again, lots of areas for you to get involved and volunteer. So that just kind of a quick list. We host pretty much on site an event for all of our teams at this point besides golf, obviously, right? And then cross country is the other one that we don't currently host on campus. But a track meet, you want to talk about volunteering, man, we need like millions of volunteers to run a track meet if they will ever happen due to tornadoes / snow. But it's been, if you don't know, that it's been canceled 4 times in a row, 3 years in a row. So track meets here are cursed. But come volunteer. So anyways, a foot, mouth. Anyways, lots of events, lots of things that we want you to do. One that is on here, our Hall of Fame banquet. Would love for you guys to come out for that. We'll be hosting it for the 2nd time this upcoming year. And then these are not important dates. This is actually, that's a typo. This is just a celebration of what we did last year a little bit. So last year, and we actually have an update to this number, we had 15 kids out of our senior class last year who committed to college and will be competing in the next level in a variety of sports. That's a really cool, yeah, there you go. Cheer for that. We won a state championship for cheer, and that's the 4th one in a row. We had 2 teams finish 2nd, lost in the state championship game. Sorry to bring up old wounds, Chris Fuller and Coach Hensley, but girls basketball and baseball finished runner-up, which is awesome. We had 5 teams who made the Final Four or made finals, which is awesome for them. We had 11 teams out of 14 that qualified for playoffs last year. That's a really high percentage, obviously, mathing. We had 3 teams that were league champs. We had 28 individual state qualifiers. We had 73 all-league athletes, 30 all-state athletes. We had 3 league players of the year, and we had 2 league coaches of the year with Coach Gina Harris and Chris Fuller. So it was a great year. If you know anything about Colorado Preps, they put out like a yearly magazine. The DC Athletic Department was ranked the 15th best athletic department in the state, regardless of classification last year. And that is a testament to the coaches, the hard work, all the efforts, the high expectations that they have for your kids. And those are good things, okay? Just to get on my soapbox for 1 minute, and I'm sorry, we're running a little behind. I will probably hear a few times this year, my kid is not having fun. And that's a funny thing for me to hear because not to brag or anything, like I did 4 sports in high school. I played college basketball. Probably 90% of my high school and college experience was not fun. It's just not how that works. So not that we want it to not be fun forever, but there's going to be some hard days. And there's going to be some days where maybe your kid is rubbing elbows up against the coach, or maybe they're rubbing up elbows against some people on the team, or maybe they just had a bad practice for whatever that, and they had a bad day, and they had a bad friend group at school, and they failed a test, and like our kids are very complex and diverse, and there's a lot going on from the time they wake up at, be realistic, 7:30 maybe to get to school, and when they go to bed at midnight, I don't know. There's a lot that can happen, and they might not enjoy that day in that sport. And I would just, ask you to help them persevere through that. It's not going to be perfect. There's lots of ups and downs and things that kind of happen throughout the year that will not be great for them. And that's okay to a degree, right? That's a little bit part of life. And so that's kind of my soapbox for the night to do that. So I'm going to turn it over to Miss Erin Pierce, and she's going to lead you off about some Booster Club stuff real quick.
Good evening, you all. First of all, thank you so much for coming out and supporting our kids and our athletic community. I have the pleasure of serving as our DC Booster president. I have some really big shoes to fill from Miss Melissa Pettigrew the last 2 years. So I'm excited to do it. She's not going anywhere, trust me. I'm pulling her back in every opportunity I can. Myself, my husband Brad, and my daughter Danica have been part of this community now for 10 years. So I have really seen this community grow, and it's been so much fun. So I'm really excited for this upcoming athletic year and to see what it brings for all of our kids. So I want to start with our Booster Club mission. So this is to passionately support and promote DC athletics through concession sales and community engagement. We believe every athlete's success is a team effort, and that includes our dedicated volunteers. By stepping up to serve in concessions and other support roles, parents and students directly contribute to the spirit, strength, and success of our athletic programs. Together, we create an environment where our teams thrive and our communities come alive. So, why do concessions matter? Concessions is our second biggest contributor to our athletic department. So, which is after the Blue Jacket Classic, which I will get to here in a little bit. We raised $80,000 in concessions alone last year. So that's a big feat. So that is amazing. So every sale, whether it's a brisket sandwich, which if you haven't had, you need to come join a game and come get some brisket. It's the same as Buc-ee's. You didn't hear that from me. So you don't have to drive all the way to BFE. You can come to a DC game and enjoy it. Whether it's the brisket sandwich, a candy or soda, that all goes directly back to our athletes. This helps pay for uniforms, equipment, tournament fees, and extras that the school budget and athletic fees can't always cover. So when you work a shift, you're not just selling snacks, you're helping our kids succeed. All right, the challenge. So we have 294 slots to fill this year. So that seems like it's a lot, but that condenses down to 71 shifts that need 4 to 6 people to fill them. So that narrows down to about 50 days. Oh, how do I go back? I'm pushing buttons. There we go. 50 days that we are open for home games. So we need to make those as impactful as possible. Right now, most parents only sign up during their child's season, but that leaves huge gaps in coverage. And a few families end up doing way more than their share. And keep in mind, those 50 days don't include our big event, all hands on deck volunteer needs that you saw. Some of those were already listed. So we will definitely need as much volunteer opportunity this year for sure. So the solution, we are trying something a little bit different this year with our high school athletic games. We have assigned each sport a share of those shifts that as a team, they will be responsible for filling when they are off season for that sport. There are ample volunteer opportunities on the court and field that coaches would love for you to fill while you're watching your child or your children play, as Dylan had previously mentioned, when they're in season. So volunteering in concessions when you're out of season keeps things fair, spreads the load, and helps every sport thrive. It's a team effort off the field just as much as it is on it. Coaches and myself will be working with team parents to be sure that our volunteer slots get filled this year. The impact. One shift could mean new nets for volleyball, fresh jerseys for soccer, or better gear for baseball. We're not just selling snacks, and we're investing in our kids. If every family steps in, we'll have every shift filled, and no one will feel overwhelmed. Melissa and I won't have to be here working all the time, even though I love seeing all of your faces. We want a break too. That's the kind of community we want to be. We really encourage our athletes to come in and work concessions. This is a great way to support their peers and work alongside friends. When I volunteer my daughter to come work with me in a concession shift, I get all of the fill-in on the juicy gossip because she's 16 and she's never home anymore. So that's my ample opportunity to get the fill-in on life. So parents, drag your kids with you and just fill in the time that you can. It's great treasuring time. So parents, grab another DC parent or your kid that you need to catch up with and work a shift. New to the community, sign up and make some new friends in our DC community. That's how we grow. New to concessions, we make it super simple for you to practically show up and just start selling food and receiving money. You will never show up and not know what to do. We will make sure you are always paired up with someone who has worked in concessions before, or you'll get the pleasure of working with me and I will make you a pro in no time. All right, so we do have the QR code up here. If you guys want to snap a picture of that, that's for our Sign Up Genius, and you'll see all the shifts that we have. So you will get a reach out from your team parent as well to let you know what shifts that your child is in for athletics that they will need to fill and you will need to fill as well. So keep that handy, pin that in, bookmark it, however you want to save it. All right, so we have the Blue Jacket Classic. Even more fun in the sun. The Blue Jacket Classic kicks off our homecoming week on Saturday, September 20th at the beautiful Arrowhead Golf Course. This is an all-school event. We are having 2 waves again this year, so if you aren't able to play in the morning, come join us in the afternoon, vice versa, or you can be like Melissa Pettigrew and I and play all 36 because we never get tired, because I know by hole 18 I'm just starting to warm up, so my second half is going to be amazing. Each golfer ticket includes green fees, cart, range balls, breakfast for the morning flight or lunch for the afternoon flight, 2 beverage tickets, and an entry to the on-course events. Don't play, we also have spectator tickets. So that is going to include breakfast, lunch, and walking access to on-course spectator areas for the day. This is an adult-only event, so please no kids. It's a breakaway, you need it, trust me. In 2024, the Blue Jacket Classic raised $83,000. So every penny counts. There's a lot of hard work that went in that day. So thank you to the team that worked with us last year on that. So up here is the QR code. So you can go ahead and save this one. You can save it for later, or go ahead and sign yourself up and your friends up to play some golf. Can't make it? please feel obligated, maybe I'm kidding a little, to donate some money by clicking the Donate Now button on that screen as well. Thank you for your time this evening, and if we haven't met, please feel free to come up to me and introduce yourself to me. I look forward to meeting you all.
Thank you, Aaron. My name is Shane Miller. I'm a strength and conditioning coach. I am going to spend 2 minutes of my 5 minutes showing a highlight video from summer performance. The video turned out great. A bunch of your kids are in it. Hudson, keep an eye out for yourself there. Man, just had a great summer. The theme was no fear, that from 2 Timothy. God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and self-discipline. And so we got to get a great video. I'll hit a couple highlights at the end, and then I'll pass it over here.
Rose up from the bottom, made our own route. We ain't never worried, bring them all out. Sling on our side, we going all out. Go on, bring them out. Bring the giants out, bring the giants out, bring the giants out, bring the giants out. We ain't never been scared, we ain't backing down. Bring the giants out, 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 bring the giants out. No retreating now, go until we black out. Bring the giants out, bring the giants out. Yeah, turn it up, real loud, we gon' run it up. Whole crowd gon' ride now for the real ones who's coming up. We can do this right now, but watch out, won't settle down. Hands off, that's lights out, it's knockout, put it to the ground. What's a giant to a sling? We are leading the ring. We don't fear anyone, but the throne, he the king. Gon' throw us to the ropes, but we'll never tap out. We ain't never gon' stop, go until we black out. Count it out. Rose up from the bottom, made our own route. We ain't never worried, bring them all out. Sling on our side, we going all out. Go on, bring them out. Bring the giants out, bring the giants out, bring the giants out, bring the giants out. We ain't never been scared, we ain't backing down. Bring the giants out, 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 bring the giants out. No, we never been scared, we ain't backing down. Bring the giants out, 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 bring the giants out. No retreating now, go until we black out. Bring the giants out, bring the giants out.
All right. Summer performance was so awesome this year. So I have about a 30-minute presentation to get done in about 3 minutes, but I throw this picture of my family in just to let everybody know that I am a real person. I'm not just an ogre who makes people lift heavy weights. So this is my wife, 23 years, 3 daughters. I had 2 daughters get married this summer. Pretty awesome. Just a little bit about my background, but I studied exercise science at Liberty University. There is actually a little bit more to know about human performance than you can find on TikTok, and I paid for that degree, and I use it. I have some certifications. These are recognized in all strength conditioning fields to be a professional strength coach. I was fortunate to work early in my career at some pretty amazing strength conditioning departments. The coaches that I got to work for and with at these universities are known as some of the world's greatest strength coaches, and I got to learn from them early in my career. Why do we train? Thanks, Sam, for giving me this picture, because it's hard, right? So why do we do this? I'm going to hit these really fast, and like I said, man, I could just talk for hours. This is what I nerd out on a daily basis, but a couple of things I want to point out that I feel like is really important that you as parents need to make sure that your kids, if they are playing sports, need to be training in our strength conditioning program, because every 10% increase in lower body strength reduces injury risk by 15%. Okay, this bottom part, that bottom bullet, eccentric training, like Nordic curls, shows to reduce hamstring strength, reduce hamstring injury by 51%. We don't have machines in our weight room. The athletes are the machines. Okay, and we are teaching them. I didn't know who might know what a Nordic curl is, but we don't have hamstring curl machines. We, do things in our weight room to prevent injury. That is a very, very high priority for us. Let's talk about females for just a second. The top bullet point and the bottom bullet point is the one I really wanted to make sure I point out, that increased squat strength. So actually, I would jump over it. So the neuromuscular control, two sides of this coin. If you lack neuromuscular control, then you are 2.5 times more likely to suffer an ACL tear than neuromuscular training. Now, what that is, what is neuromuscular training? That's what these docs are putting out in their research. It is human performance, strength and conditioning type training. It's not Peloton, it's not Zumba, okay? It might be a nice sweat, it's not chest day, it's not arms day, okay? Bodybuilding is not the same as human performance strength conditioning that reduces chances of injury. So, on the flip side of that, proper training reduces non-contact ACL injuries by 88%. Do you want to get your daughter's chance of ACL tear reduced by 88%? We got to train, okay? As it turns out, it makes better athletes, okay? Hopefully that's obvious, but it makes them stronger. We improves rate of force development that makes them more explosive. And there is research to back this, that it actually translates to increased performance to the actual sport. Okay, it's not just look good muscles, but it's play good muscles. So we just work on more things than just build muscles in our weight room. We hit a lot of these character traits like Mr. Becker was talking about at the very beginning. Okay, I want to hang out for these. Look at these bullet points. This is important. A few of our athletes play college sports. Maybe, in a very rare chance, we might get a genetic freak who plays professional sports. But hopefully, all of our students make it to be 40 years old. And when they're 40 years old, one of my goals is that they are healthy, active adults. They can carry an elk off the mountain, they can backpack, they can mountain bike, they can do active things, right? Teens who consistently exercise in high school are 2 times more likely to be active, healthy adults. Youth who train consistently are less likely to experience anxiety and depression symptoms, okay? Why don't we try exercise and sleep and nutrient-rich food as a first measure, for our kids, okay? This is how you can get involved. So, middle school, summer performance and 0-hour training is the best opportunity, okay? 0 hours for middle school and high school, okay, depending on how many register. I have multiple coaches. We have good coach to athlete ratio, appropriate training for each age level. But for high school and middle school, 0 hour, Monday through Friday, Monday through Thursday, 6:45 to 8 o'clock. We do have a strength elective for middle schoolers. This year it's on Thursday and Friday. Coach Grantham, who's our new middle school science teacher and football coach, he and I are going to be coaching that one together. High school, summer performance, 0 hour, and class periods. So we really want to shorten our athletes' day as much as possible. If they are in an off-season situation, I prefer and recommend that they come to 0 hour. If they are in season, I'd like for them to train in a class period. That way they don't have to come early or stay late. They can get their training done during class period. I think that is my last, nope, one more. So that was a 30-minute presentation in 3 minutes, hopefully, but we didn't even talk about these. So I want to talk to your kids about this, and I'm happy to answer questions to you about this. So questions about nutrition, supplements, recovery. You get injured, return to play protocol. Mrs. Klager and I work very closely together to prevent injury, to treat injury, to get them back on the field healthy. Sport-specific training, exercise program for adults, and Thunder Dads. Guys, I want to do some Thunder Dads workouts. They'll be easier than the high school workouts, okay? Yep, that's it for me. So, guys, thank you. Please come see me, email me, and I'm glad to be here working with your kids.
All right, guys, I'm sorry we're a little bit over. I know we got some fall sport parent meetings that we're going to break out. We also have a little bit of a middle school thing that's going to stay in here. So, again, sorry that we're a little bit over. If I could get Coach Harris and Coach Poland down here, and cheer parents and eSport parents, you're going to go to the atrium. Cheer parents are going to the atrium. Esports parents are going to the esports room. And oh, we lost the page. And then boys soccer will be in Mr. Holman's room, the dad, Mr. Holman. Boys golf will be in Mr. Fuller's classroom. We got some signs as well. Cross country will be in Miss Bohannon's classroom. And volleyball will be upstairs in the dining hall banquet. So if the high school fall sport parents can please pack up and get out of here as soon as possible, so that we can get you home as soon as possible. Thank you so much for coming, and we're gonna have a great athletic school year.
Never seen a righteous forsaken, and he won't start now. Never seen the righteous forsaken.